The shadow, a term that often evokes a sense of unease, is an intrinsic part of our existence. In the pursuit of happiness and fulfillment, we tend to lean towards the light, towards positivity, and towards what makes us feel good. However, in this journey, we often forget that light cannot exist without shadow. The shadow is not just a space of darkness, it is a place where our deepest emotions, our sadness, and our insecurities reside. Embracing and accepting our shadow is an act of courage and self-compassion. It is recognizing that just like light, our emotions have their place and significance. Sadness, fear, and anger are emotions that, although we often avoid, are essential to our human experience. By repressing them, we not only deny ourselves the right to feel, but also limit our ability to connect with others. Authenticity emerges from the acceptance of all our parts, not just those we consider good or positive. Imagine for a moment that you decide to ignore a part of yourself, that part that reminds you of your failures, your fears, and your sadness. By doing so, you become an incomplete being, a puzzle with a missing foundational piece. The shadow is not an enemy, it is a companion that accompanies us on our journey, sometimes quietly, sometimes loudly, but always present. The work of psychologist Carl Jung provides us with a framework to understand this duality. The shadow, according to Jung, is the dark side of our personality, those aspects we do not want to acknowledge. But what if instead of fearing it, we decided to invite it into our lives? By doing so, we not only free ourselves from the burden of repression, but also begin to understand ourselves on a deeper level. Accepting our shadow allows us to integrate those parts of ourselves that we have rejected, giving us a more comprehensive view of who we are. It is essential to understand that accepting our emotions does not mean we become stuck in them. It is not about resigning ourselves to live in sadness or fear, but rather about acknowledging their existence and giving them space in our lives. Sadness, for example, can be an invaluable teacher. It teaches us about loss, impermanence, and vulnerability. By allowing ourselves to feel sadness, we connect with our humanity and, in turn, with that of others. The practice of personal reflection is a powerful tool in this process. Taking a few minutes each day to meditate or write about our emotions can provide clarity and perspective. Sometimes just putting into words what we feel can be liberating. Writing becomes a refuge where our shadows can express themselves without judgment. It is also important to talk to someone we trust. Sharing our struggles with friends or family can lighten the burden we carry and allow us to view our emotions from a different angle. Furthermore, self-compassion plays a crucial role. We often are our harshest critics, judging ourselves for feeling sadness or fear. But what if we treated ourselves with the same kindness we would offer to a friend going through a tough time? Self-compassion allows us to be kind to ourselves, reminding us that everyone faces challenges and that there is nothing wrong with feeling what we feel. When we begin to embrace our shadow, we discover that we are not alone in our struggles. Every person we meet carries their own burden of shadows. By sharing our experiences, we create a space for authentic connection. Vulnerability becomes a bridge that unites us, allowing us to build deeper and more meaningful relationships. Instead of hiding our sadness, we can share it, creating a sense of community and support. On this journey of acceptance, you may initially feel a bit lost. That's normal. The shadow can be a confusing and frightening place, but it is also a space of discovery. If you are seeking guidance in this process, I recommend the book, How to Be a Happy Waiter, by Sonny Montero. This work is a beacon of light amid adversity, offering practical tools to manage our emotions and find happiness even in the darkest moments. Montero shares his own experiences and invites us to reflect on the importance of acceptance and self-compassion in our lives. In the end, embracing our shadow is a journey toward authenticity and emotional well-being. It allows us to live more fully, accepting all facets of our humanity. The shadow is not something to fear, it is something to embrace. By doing so, we find a freedom that not only benefits us, but also those around us. Accepting our shadows can be the first step toward a richer and more fulfilling life, where all our emotions have their place and value. So, the next time you confront your shadow, remember that you are not alone. Allow yourself to feel, enabling yourself to be.